What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hello Hair Pro podcast. What's going on, Jen?
What's up?
My leg is stuck. There we go. You would think I'd be better at getting set up for these by now, but here we are, going on year almost 3 of this.
Crazy.
So pretty cool. Today we're talking about a couple different things. We're going to talk about bandwidth and the things that you should be focusing on and the things that you probably could pass off or not focus on ever again and be totally fine. And then I'd like to talk loosely about sort of this monkey see, monkey do, or copycat mentality sort of thing that we're seeing. I'm writing a blog post on it. I have a million notes and we'll kind of just work through, I guess. But let's start with the bandwidth thing. When you had your first salon, where did you spend most of your time?
With my clients.
Yeah. So
not the place to be.
Not building your business, right? Not
at all.
on those sort of higher level tasks. And it's super common for, I know every business owner I've ever talked to is like, when I first started, whatever their first business was or their just current business, when they first started, they didn't really know what to do.
No.
So they ended up getting stuck on those sort of that hamster wheel of repetitive low level tasks, like cleaning. People are always like, I had this a ton in the gym world. People would be like what floor cleaner do you use? That would be a question that would come up a lot in gym groups. And it was like, it's irrelevant. Like the name brand of your floor cleaner, your floor scrubber is not going to grow your business.
Right.
0 people are coming to you based on your floor cleaner. We know that the floors need to be cleaned. Just handle it and move on. And that's where people...
the quicker you do that, the better off you are.
Yeah. And so I see the same thing. We talk to a lot of business owners, salon owners, shop owners who are stuck in those same things. They're focusing on the little things that aren't going to grow their business. And so when you start to look at why, I think a big part of it is they just don't know. They don't know what to focus on. So they keep themselves, busy in the grind.
Because that makes them feel like they're an owner. They're doing a lot of things and they're so busy doing these owner things, but you're doing nothing to actually lead your business to a successful future. And also, I think, like you said, they don't know what to do because if you've only been doing whatever your job is and you went out on your own or you opened a business, if you haven't read some books or hired a mentor, like you're going to be stuck at just doing the work. And over time,
part of it.
Right? Like, and then it's the consistency part. Most people are not good being consistent. So they're able to maybe do some leadership things for a little bit. And then maybe that stuff's not fun, or the effort that needs to be given to lead your business to the next level is more work than you thought, or whatever that is. They fall off and they go back to what they've always been doing, which is probably just being in your business, doing the same things and nothing to pump your business into that next level of where it needs to be.
Gotcha. I think some of it too goes back to meaning like the underlying problems is just like, it's like a comfort level thing.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be like, I don't really know what to do. But that's really the question that you have to ask, and you have to ask yourself, and you have to ask other people sometimes, like a mentor, or even just have a conversation with another business owner. I've met business owners out randomly for coffee. I don't know how many times, a bunch of times, just to be like, hey, I think you have a cool business. It's nothing like mine. Would you like to have a coffee? And just having a conversation will open your mind to the things that they're doing. And it just kind of helps you focus. So the other thing I was going to point out was the lack of clarity. That was it. Sorry. I'm looking through my notes and my phone's blowing up and I'm trying to ignore things on my phone at the same time as I'm looking at my notes. But if you don't have like a clear foundation, which is the word we use all the time, but if you don't have
the mission, the core values, the vision. Yeah,
it's always going to be something new that comes up. And you're going to get stuck on that hamster wheel of, for some people, it's products. They think, how many people have we met? You've met a lot more than me that are like, I need to bring in a new product line. That's what's going to take my salon over the edge. And you don't realize that if you don't really believe in the products that you're using, it doesn't really matter what product line you bring in. You can bring in all the product lines you
Right.
want that say luxury. Unless you provide a luxury experience, you're not luxury. You know what I
No,
mean?
you're
So it's
shit.
you're not solving your problems by those sort of lower level things because I
Right. That's
guarantee
more
you
fun
there
to
are
bring in a product line, right? That would be like, oh, this is fun. We did something different. We did a change. Like,
yeah,
no, that's not what you
it's
need to do.
right. You need to stop changing stuff is
Yeah.
probably where you're at. The other issue I think probably comes up a lot is that people like we all think that this has to get done, whatever it is, right? Like
Hmm.
the trash has to get out right now. I don't know why I use trash as an example, but here we are. Like this has to get done right now. This can't wait. And so you get stuck in this like it goes it works well for cleaning too, but like this has to be clean. So and when you fall into that, it's hard to get out because you're always going to find like little busy stuff that keeps you busy. Like, oh, I have to email this client immediately. I have to take the trash out. I have to do this. And then all of a sudden, you don't have the time to work on the things that are actually going to grow your business.
Right.
Does that make sense? The
I,
way I
it,
took 27
yeah,
minutes to
I
explain?
think that's how I would explain it, as you already know. I think a lot of, as in the salon world, I think this is the way you would say it is like the barrier to entry is like really easy. Like people go out on their own, they open salons, like
You don't even
they
need a
just
license
get
to open
going.
a salon.
Yeah, right. So that's what I mean. Like you just do it. And I did that also. I think what happens is you now own a business or you run a business or however you want to look at it, and you're still wearing the same hat that you wore the day before you opened it. And you didn't arrive at like, you're not just now the operator of the business, you're leading the business, you're driving the business. There's so many things that need to get done. And I think what happens is those things become overwhelming and they are not most of them very enjoyable to do. So you're like, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. I'd rather work on a new logo or maybe we should repaint my salon because that's the fun stuff, right? But the thing is that's not going to progress your business. And what's going to happen either in year 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, you're going to be like, why haven't I grown? What's happening? If you have an accountant, which you should, that accountant's going to be like, why is this business not thriving? And what's your answer? Because it's you. You can't blame anything else. You could say to your accountant, oh, we painted the walls though. We got new products in. That doesn't fucking matter. The accountant's like, no, where's the profit? Why have a business if you're not growing and moving in the right direction? And now you're at year 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you've got to start there and you still have to do those things. So the sooner you can, when you open a business, start running a business, put on the hat of the leadership, hire your people to support you around you, your accountants, your lawyers, your bank people to support you so you can truly be running a business as soon as you open, actually prior to opening.
Yes.
Setting that up so that then once you are open, now you can keep making the small steps to keep the business growing from year 1 to 2 to 3 and not be like, shit, I'm starting from the beginning and I've been open for a few years. We talked about this a little before. So that was kind of speaking to owners, but I think if you want to speak to stylists the same way, they're driven to look at their schedule and look at everything that's not happening in their day to day, right? They're looking at all the holes in where the clients aren't filled in rather than celebrating the clients you do have booked that day and what you can add on or what experience you can level up and offer since you have extra time, or taking that time where there's holes in it and how do you grow your business? How do you market to the clients you want that aren't sitting in your chair and use those things to be positive and grow your business? And I don't mean just doing it on Tuesday next week because you heard this podcast. That's something you do daily, weekly, monthly. That has to be consistent too. Those gaps will fill in, but you have to consistently be doing the work to drive the clients into your chair. And if you work under a salon like at Hello, Todd and I do so much behind the scenes to help grow our staff. But the magic happens when the staff does some work to help level up what we're doing. And then now that we're working together to grow that business. But either way, if you're coming from an owner standpoint, a stylist standpoint, a barber, it's the consistency in the work you put in. And it's daily, it's weekly, it's monthly. There's no time to not be doing that stuff if you want to grow.
Yeah, you have to be in the constant pursuit of something. I keep saying that. It keeps
Yes,
coming up
constant,
over and
constant.
over again, but I sometimes call it an honest effort. Like you have to be chasing
Yep,
something, working towards something constantly. If you're not, by definition, you're regressing because you're not getting any
correct.
younger.
And
And
stop blaming everyone else.
yeah, so different topic, Jen. Different topic. So, what are some of the more important higher level tasks that we're talking about for running a
Yeah,
business?
this is great. I love this because I'm like, well, what do I do?
So, strategic planning, which would be
Mm-hmm.
just laying out your future. What does the next
Mm-hmm.
month look like, the quarter, the year, whatever? What does the holiday season look like? And we talk about this quite often.
Yeah,
We actually could probably step it up and even do better, but we do
of
have
course.
lots of conversations about what the summer is going to look like. I went through recently a group on Facebook, and everyone was like, "What do you do to drive business during the summers? It's so slow. Everyone's so slow." We're not slow. It's our busiest time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at
Yeah,
it from a completely different way. And I'm not bragging or anything. I'm sure they're busier at other times of the year. But
right.
just if you're looking at the summer now, it's kind of too
It's
late.
already summer. It is too.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying don't do it, because you need to do it for next year. So you
yeah.
might as well do it now. But
We're planning
strategic
our summer
planning,
beginning of the year, right? Like, so what does that
yeah,
look like?
or the
And
year
so,
before. Like we look at the
right.
holiday season and we go, how can we improve next holiday season?
Yep.
Right
I
after the
think
holiday
too,
season, though, we're not waiting for November to get here
right.
and then going, what specials can I run to drive business? That's
Right.
not how we do it.
Because I think that resonates with certain people. So for
Okay.
us, we know coming into the spring, into the summer, we can capitalize on prom, graduation, and weddings. So those are some things that and we've talked about some other podcasts, but those are social media things that we're working on to get that out there that we do it, getting into schools and stuff so that they know that we're open for that holiday season. To me, it's a holiday. I guess it's not really a holiday, but whatever. And then doing the legwork. So last year we did a bunch of weddings. They're referring new weddings this year. The prom girls that came in last year, it's like now they're bringing in their friends this year. So it is constant, but that helps drive our spring into our summer to be super busy with just different types of work.
Yeah. So the after strategic planning, another thing you could focus on as an owner, higher level tasks, is your marketing. You brought up social
Yes.
media. So
Yep.
if you don't like social media, you should have someone doing it, or you should do it at
Yeah.
least minimally. Maybe you post once a week or something, but it's free. Just do it.
Right.
And then
Right.
what I would look into is, we've talked about this a bunch, and we'll have people, we're this fall, we have a good lineup of people. Actually, I think we might start recording summer, because I have a big lineup of people and guests to come on. But so marketing, you can look into optimizing your website, search
Mm-hmm.
engine optimization, whatever sort of content that you can create, blog posts, podcasts, whatever, video snippets, whatever you want to do, jump on YouTube. There's not enough. I don't think there are enough people leveraging YouTube. And I think YouTube's gonna see another
Yeah.
spike.
All your information is there.
Yeah, it's amazing how much stuff you can find on
Mm-hmm.
there, and like relevant, good stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Customer relationships. What about that? Like,
Huge.
how you look at your business? Have you gone into your business with a cold eye? Have you gone into your business and sat in a chair that you maybe haven't sat in for a long time and just
Yes.
looked around? What do
Look
you
around.
see? What improvements
Mm-hmm.
need to be made? I went into our salon the other day, and I saw,
Vent.
I don't, what?
That vent. Remember? That was one.
No, that I cleaned, but
Yeah, I know.
no, I saw coffee cups all over the place,
Oh,
like empty sort of coffee drinks and whatever. And I was like, all right, Jen, we've got to figure out a way to let our staff know that we don't want that. Like, we pride
yeah, it looks
ourselves
messy.
on
Yeah.
being clean and organized and tidy and whatever. And I understand stuff's going to happen, but there's no need for 20 half drinking coffees to be all over the
Yes.
place, like on seats and stuff. So it was
Mm-hmm.
messy. But if I hadn't gone in and paid attention, that would be something that's easy to miss. You just walk by it, go to your station, cut some hair, go out back, say hello to people, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did I say customer relationships? I
I think you said customer experiences, so relationships would
Okay.
be probably next.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
started with relationship and then went into sort of the experience, but
Yeah.
same thing. What about management? What about staff training? What does that look like? You can't be behind the chair 100% of the time and training a staff. That's not going to work. So you're going to have to pass some stuff off, or figure out how to pass some stuff off,
Right.
or you're going to be in a sprint situation where you realize that, okay, say it's just you and one other person or two other people, and they're brand new out of school. You might look at it and be like, okay, I need to float this business plus teach them.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that, and I'll give it, 4 to 6 months. And for
Mm-hmm.
4 to 6 months, you can maintain that. But if you
Yep.
just try to do that without a game plan,
Right.
you're going to get stuck doing it indefinitely, and you're going to burn out, and you're going to be like
Yeah.
these people in these Facebook groups that are like, I don't know if I have it in me to build this again.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to rebuild it every
Yeah.
freaking year. Like, something's off. So staff training is a big one. Maybe you have staff come up and part of your program is to build a program for them so that they can start training. We have people that have started helping us train staff, and it's great. And then another big one before we can kind of move on if you want is financial oversight. Are you looking at your numbers? Do you know what even numbers are? Do you even know what that means? Look at your numbers, because I hear people say it all the time, like, look at your numbers. And I'm like, what are you looking at? How are you?
Oh,
How are
there
you?
they are.
Yeah. How are you interpreting that data? Like, we have meetings with our accountant where we sit down and we're like, what, like, I know what this number is and what it means, but what else can I get from it? How else can I understand my business on a deeper level because I have these numbers in front of me, or these statistics or metrics or whatever you're looking at?
Yes. I think too, I see in some of those groups too, like, what is everyone charging for this? And that gets into the next part. So I'm not going to go there.
Okay. Either way. What else? Did I have anything else in my notes about bandwidth? I just think it's important for people to start to, prioritizing. So you can go through and make a list and prioritize stuff. So this'll really help you open your eyes to what's going on. So, for example, the coffee cups at the salon being all over the place, is that really impacting our business? Maybe if they're there constantly and people are like, this place is always messy, but it's probably something, it's not like paramount. It's not at the top of the list. So if you start to like look at things and make a list, you can go through, and there's different ways to do it. You know, if it takes you less than 60 seconds, just do it and get it over with, blah, blah, blah. You can go through all those lists and look at some stuff. You might be able to delegate those smaller tasks to people. Pay someone to clean the bathrooms. If you're cleaning your salon, if you're the owner and you're cleaning your salon and you're spending 3 to 4 hours extra a week, can you pay somebody 3 to 4 hours of pay? Pass that off, because, so say you pay somebody $15 an hour, right? Just say, can you generate more than $60 with those 4 hours that you've just delegated to somebody else?
If yes, do it.
Well, you should be able to.
Yeah.
You should be able to write a blog post or do some social media that gets clients in the door. And each client that comes through the door, if you've done your numbers correctly and you understand your math, you understand the potential lifetime value of a client. So if you can get 1 or 2 people in the door in that 3 to 4 hour span that you would normally be cleaning the bathrooms, that's a win, because you're talking lifetime value of a client can be tens of thousands of dollars. Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
We were at an event recently, like a little graduation for the kiddos, and I think you got like 8 clients for the salon. Right?
Seriously.
Yeah. So if you weren't at that event because you were like, oh, I can't go, I have to go clean the salon, what would be more valuable? You know what I mean?
Right.
So you've got to look at what truly matters, and you need to recognize what truly matters. Okay. Yeah. Now, I don't have notes on this. I do actually a lot in my computer, but I just want to kind of chat, I guess, about this sort of monkey see, monkey do mentality, where people are looking for, in my opinion, from what I see a lot of, is people are just looking for like a template. People are looking for like something that's done and I can just follow. And it's interesting because I use the analogy, the cooking analogy all the time, where I'm like, don't learn recipes. Don't ask people for recipes. Learn techniques, because you can do a lot more with a technique than you can with a recipe. It's just like when people are talking about a haircutting class and they're like, well, what haircut are they teaching? Irrelevant. You should be going to try to pick up a technique, try to pick up something that you can use to improve your skill set. The haircut doesn't necessarily mean much unless you don't know how to do that other stuff and you're just copying the haircut. So now all of your clients are getting the same haircut across the board. And it's the same thing with business owners. A lot of business owners are running their business based on some cookie cutter template that doesn't take into account your why, your foundation. Like, and I don't see people asking those questions, not in these groups. I'm sure there are people. Yeah, I'm sure, because when we mentor people and help people with their businesses and stuff, it's always like, let them talk, because I need as much information as possible. I need to know why they're even doing this. I need to know even if they care. Like, do you care if you succeed or fail? Some people say, for example, you have an inheritance and you're like, oh, I'm going to open a salon. I've always wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Great. You're opening a salon. You don't really care if you fail. It wasn't your money. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
so
for
there,
fun.
I need, that's just a stupid example, but I need
Yeah.
to understand that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are just like, oh, just follow this, or, oh, just follow this template, or download this person's course and just follow what they did. And I'm like, that's cool, but don't you want to understand the why? Don't you want to
Right.
understand the techniques? Or else you're always going to be just downloading these people's stuff and you're never going to be able to
And you're not running your
create.
business your way.
Right. And the reason that this sort of popped up was it was two parts. It was all these groups that I see, and it's just people copying the same thing over and over again. And then it was back to social media where it's like the same thing over and over
Mm-hmm.
again. And I'm not talking about trends or stuff like that, because you can still do all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
We're working
It's
on
fun.
some fun stuff, whatever. If you're just copying, like copying is the exact opposite, the polar opposite of creativity. And this industry is like, we're so creative, we're artists, we make art, we're creative. And I don't know if I see it.
Right. Or it's not often.
Yeah, I'm not saying there aren't people creating stuff in the industry. That would be stupid of me to say, and
Right.
false, completely false. But I would say for the majority of people, they're just kind of copying what else is going on.
Well, yeah.
Makes
And I
sense.
think, yeah, we talked about this earlier. I think in the beginning of people's career, especially with hair, a lot of times you are doing like the same haircut or you are copying because you're like, I'm completely lost in life. And I think
Well, yeah, and
that
I'm not
that
talking
gets you
about that.
started.
Yes,
Right.
yes, for
But then
sure.
there's the it's the check yourself part. Like there's a point where like, okay, you're copying, you're mimicking, and then now you've learned a bunch or you're a few years in, now you have to grow yourself. Now you should be taking a class and doing that and learning and like, okay, how do I make these things better? And how do I make this my own? Because now I've been doing it, you'll understand it more and it's time to make it your own. But what we see often is nobody wants to put the energy in to make it their own. And now you're 10 years in and you're still just doing the same thing. Like
Right.
that, again, there's nothing creative about that. So there's somewhere in there you have to like regroup yourself, have a reset and like, how do I get creative and crafty in my career, in my business, so that it's my own brand, however you're looking at that.
Creative and crafty.
Yeah, that was good, right?
Yes.
That's sort of what I was going to say on the other one. It brings it together on our first topic to this is we see so much people like, what are people charging for this? Or what are you paying for this? Or what are you doing, when it comes to finances in your business? And what the business around the corner, down the street, in the next country, in the next state's doing is irrelevant to what you need to do. This is again where when we talk about looking at numbers, you can't copy someone else's prices or copy someone else's like menu because it's there's no comparison. Like you need to get down with your accountant and understand your numbers for real. It's like, how much money do you need to make daily, monthly, weekly, however that looks like? This is what you need to bring in. And what does that look like for how much you need to charge, for how many clients you need to see? And that's why you can't, it's arbitrary. Just be like, what are you charging for this? Well, do you even know what it costs you? Or how much are you using on your clients? Like you have to understand that stuff in order to understand what to charge. And that's just math. And that's the part of like, if you just start copying someone else, you're like, why am I not profitable? Well, because your business isn't theirs and you don't understand how to run yours.
It's interesting. I think the pricing structure thing, or how to price your services, is always something that's funny to me, because if you're, like you said, if you're just copying, you have no idea. So even people that are like chair renters, I know people
Yeah.
that have gone off to rent a chair, never ever looked at what it would cost them to provide a service. So you
Right.
have a service, say you have whatever it is, your typical, like, give me a service. I don't do color. Give me a color service.
Root retouch. That's easy.
Okay.
Single process.
So you have a single process. How much does that cost you to provide? Until you know that, you don't have
Right.
a way to figure out how to charge for it, because you don't even know.
You could be losing money on it
Our
or just
son,
breaking even.
yeah, our 11-year-old realized that recently when they did a
Yes.
entrepreneur project for the grades
Yep.
above him, and he got to
Right.
go into the stores, and the things were priced 50 cents or a dollar, and he was like, how do they know how to price that? And we told him
Broke
that
it
they should have
down.
figured out how much it cost them for each
Yeah.
thing, and then they could price it accordingly based on that. But when you don't have that, you're just guessing. And I've seen rental salons, and again, I'm not knocking that. There's plenty of room for
Yeah.
everybody. But what I see is some places that are like, you have to charge the same as the other people around you. And it
Right.
doesn't take into account like your lifestyle or what you're looking to get out of it. Or like if you are looking to work, say you have a huge clientele and you're only looking to work a day and a half, 2 days out of the week, that's great. But you're probably going to want to charge more than the person that's working 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Right.
That makes sense. Um, Anything else on this? This was kind of
No,
just like a loose
yeah.
topic to bring up because I've been researching and trying to figure out like why this happens. What I have found real quick in closing is that I think it was Adobe did a study and they found that 82% of businesses attributed creativity to the success of their
Mm,
business. And then there was I
that's
think it
cool.
was the WEF listed creativity along with, hold on, I think I have it right here. So creativity was one, analytical thinking and innovation was two, and active learning and learning strategies was three, not necessarily in order. But that's what the WEF, like them or hate them, or even know who they are, that's what they are saying. People that are going to be successful in the workforce, they're going to need those three skills above
Hmm.
everything else by 2025. And this was like a couple years back that they said this. 2025 is in what, 6 months?
Yeah, what's right around the corner.
So
It's here.
you've got to get on that stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I was gonna just say that I think I like the thought provoking kind of topics to get people thinking. I think if you're feeling overwhelmed by thinking about all of this stuff, these are all things we do in our business. And it doesn't mean we did them all right off the bat. It means
No,
we've
no.
grown into that. Yeah. So if you're feeling
It's a lot of
like, I
trial
don't
and
even know
error.
where to start. Yeah, I don't know where to start. I don't even know which one. How do I do all of these? Like,
It's
don't
normal.
don't do all of them. Yeah, exactly. And maybe you even like you can hit us up for a mentoring call. We can do a call to kind of help you like lay that out. But this is where you need someone to help guide you, and the accountability part and keeping your brain focused on what's going to be first for you to tackle and how you're going to tackle all of these and help you come up with a plan. Because sometimes when you're overwhelmed, you're just frozen and then you do nothing. And then you're just like, well, that what where do I go? So,
Paralysis by analysis.
yeah, totally. So it's easy to be overwhelmed. It's very normal. All of this takes time, but the point is that you start on something and you start working on something, and then you'll get to the next thing and the next thing, and then you're where we are a couple years in, and you're doing all of those things, and now you can just keep doing them better. But we're here to help.
Yeah, and you get to a point where you're like, what's next? Like we've asked
Yeah,
ourselves, what's next for Hello? What does
yeah,
Hello look like? I think in my head, we're on version 3 of Hello Hair in the last
yeah.
4 years. What is the fifth
It's
year
great.
going to
Hmm.
look like, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know yet. We have some stuff that we're playing around with, but we haven't settled on a
Right.
direction yet. But yeah. Anyways, hit us up.
Yep.
Get
We're
in
here.
our email list or my email list. It's not yours.
It's not
And then
it. It's not
yeah,
mine.
we'll have some fun. All right. Thanks for
Cool.
listening, everyone. See you soon.
Peace.